Welcome back to Rick's Scale Model Fix and a brand new kit review. This time we're going to be looking at the surprise 2023 announcement from Airfix of their 1/72 scale Messerschmitt ME 410 A1 U2 U4. So this was a surprise announcement from Airfix. It dropped in an email in their Work Bench blog and was arguably their highlight for Airfix of Scale Model World 2023, and how they managed to keep that a secret and get it on sale at the show certainly proves that people can keep a secret in the modelling world. And let's hope that there's more to come from Airfix like this, because it does add a little bit of excitement to our hobby. Normal box top artwork there from Adam Tooby, striking example of the ME 410 over the Norwegian fjords by the looks of things. So if you want to find out a bit more information about the design and the realisation of this kit, then Airfix up on their YouTube channel have a Sprue Talk dedicated to this model, and it's well worth a watch. I'll put the link in the description below. So without further ado, let's lift the box top and have a look at what's inside. So as usual with Airfix, everything is just contained in a single large plastic bag, but it does look like the clear parts are contained in their own plastic bag as well, just to avoid any damage. We've got the instruction books, A4 folded in half, which annoys the life out of me in all fairness. Decal sheet printed by Cartograph. It's going to be aftermarket quality and probably expertly researched. Nothing really much more to say about those. And the miniature A4 painting diagrams on nice glossy paper. And we have Scheme B, which is 1944, and Scheme A, which is Norway 1945, which is the box top artwork. Taking a look at the instructions, and they're of Airfix's standard format. We have multilingual text about the type and its operational service history. On the inside of the front cover we have the icons that are used throughout the build and some assembly instructions, and unsurprisingly on page 3 we start with construction of the cockpit. So there's a few little notes just to open up various holes depending on the option that you're planning on building. Colour call out is Humbrol. Decals for the side instrument panels, but it does look like we've got some raised detail on there as well, and a clear part to the floor. Seats coming in with a bulkhead, control column, other bits and pieces, looking to make quite a detailed cockpit for the scale. We've got those nose cannons going in there in stage 7. Stage 8 refers to steps 65 and 68 for which holes to open depending on A or B version being built. Turning the page, we have a wing spar. This seems to be Airfix standard way of producing wings these days. Observer's seat, or rear gunner's seat if you like, coming in with some radio equipment which looks rather nice for the scale there. We've got undercarriage doors for the in-flight version, so just pay attention there, don't add those if you're planning on doing it with the undercarriage down. Work begins on the net wheelbase for the wings with an inserts there, some more details into the side wall of the cockpits, bulkheads for the tail wheel, etc, etc. A bit more detail being added in part stage 15 before the fuselage halves start to come together, and as ever we've got a lovely pictorial diagram showing you where everything fits. Stage 17 sees the fuselages come together with a barrel for the rear barbettes. Some more details being highlighted there, but they're previous steps. Just make sure that your alignment is spot on, otherwise I'm sure we're going to have issues with the wing roots there, but hopefully not. Slats can be shown open or closed. Just checking there, it looks like we've got elevators can be deployed or retracted, and rudder and everything showing how everything should look 90 degrees to each other there in a little insert diagram. So coming along quite well. Gets a little bit more involved with the engine nacelles, radiators which can be posed with the flap door open or closed, and then the A or B version has the nose cannon or that huge cannon fitted, depending on your choice. Just a little bit more information. It says when building this model with the radiator flaps closed, follow steps 31 to 38. When building it with the radiator flaps open, follow page 31, blah blah blah. So just make sure you're going through the correct assembly sequence there. Turning over, we have some more radiator flap assemblies, ailerons, exhaust stacks, machine guns being added. It's important there if you want these to move and be positionable that you only add glue where highlighted. Undercarriage, 2-part wheels with weight. Undercarriage legs coming into each nacelle with undercarriage doors, tail wheel, drop tanks. Seeing this model come together pretty quickly. It's quite well detailed for a 72nd scale kit though. Props, and note before anybody starts shouting at Airfix that you've got the propellers wrong. This the reference was done for the Cosford machine, and it's well documented that those propeller blades were cut and chopped short by museum staff during the days that the engines were actually run up. And if you have a look on YouTube, there's some footage of that with this machine with the engines running, which is quite interesting to see. Clear parts coming in. Cockpit, there's no way round the shape of the 410's cockpit, so you're going to have to be careful here looking at that when we do assemble it. We'll show you how to do this, but I'm just thinking that a small bead of Tamiya extra thin will hold those in place quite nicely. Towel rail aerials coming in, cockpit being assembled, I'm assuming to draw a complete conclusion to the build in 77 steps over 15 pages. So as we said, all the parts come in one rather large bag, so we'll just open these and we'll have a look. So it's nice to see again straight off the bat that Airfix have chosen to continue with the harder plastic. So there's those clear parts. The framework is really quite pronounced on there, so they shouldn't prove too difficult masking with strips of tape and the cocktail stick and a sharp knife, as there's no canopy masks available for this at the time of filming this video. Just making sure that bag is empty before we dispose of it. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sprues in the bag. So we'll start with sprue A. Sprue A, I do like these cutouts. This is covered in release agent. It's really slippy. Panel lines, it's always going to be the question with an Airfix kit. Probably slightly overdone, but consistent and really quite nice and well defined. They're going to look fine under a coat of paint, and of course my feelings are known on these panel lines. I actually prefer these because it makes it so much easier during assembly. If you do have to do any filling and sanding or creating any rework along the seam, that it's very easy to just rescribe those in, as you never completely lose them. Wheels and tyres, quite nice. That radio instrumentation there is really well rendered for the scale. The cockpit tub does have raised sidewall details if you don't want to use those decals, and they're quite nicely produced. Ejector pin marks are all in places that you're not going to see by the looks of things. Overall, quite nice. Sprue B, quite simple sprue. We've got the one piece lower wing section, and there's actually some quite nice rivet detail on there. Again, probably, if you want to be nitpicking, a little bit overscale. Probably look more at home on a 48 scale kit. But nonetheless, it's there, and it'll look great once it's painted. And again, with it being on the slightly deeper side, in the weathering stages, it's going to hold a wash really well. Blind side, no real evidence of any sink marks. May have a few just in that panel there, which are the ejector pins just slightly showing through the surface. I don't think they'll be visible on the finished model. Sprue C contains the other fuselage halves, and it's interesting to note that rather than give the modeler the option and separate elevators, Airfix have actually completed the modeler with two alternate elevators, one being posed, deflected, which is going to be great because you're not going to break those off. Props with a corrected profile rudder. I'm not too sure whether that's a representation of the fabric effect or whether they're sink marks. We'll give Airfix the benefit of the doubt there, and I think that is a replication of the fabric effect, if you can see that in the light there. So this is quite a nice produced kit. Again, no evident, no mold flaws, short shots or anything on these sprues. Sprue F, just out of sequence, gives you those two optional cannon bay belly inserts, if you like, one with that longer cannon and the other nose protruding machine guns or smaller cannons there. Sprue D, couple of seats, more instrumentation, scissor links, etc. Some really quite fine parts here. You're really going to need your single blade nippers to remove some of those from the sprues without breaking them. Certainly these. And that tail wheel is actually really nicely done. The camera can pick that up. Just trying to get it to focus for you there. The detail of the tread pattern on that is astounding in that small scale. Sprue E, we've got the spinners, those slats, other bits and pieces dotted around the airframe, radiator, flaps, oil cooler, etc. and the exhaust stacks. Again, quite well produced. There is some lovely detail there on the matrix for the radiators. So overall, quite impressed. So there we have Airfix's brand new 1/72 scale Messerschmitt ME410 A1, U2 and U4. Surprise release by Airfix, fits into the Airfix range reasonably well, as there are some notable types in there at the moment. You've got the Stuka, the Dornier, the Heinkel and now 410. Will we see a JU88 perhaps to complete that family? Fingers crossed. Overall it's a beautifully moulded kit. Panel lines maybe a little bit deep still, but nothing to really detract from the model. I'm sure it'll go together fantastic. And like we said, there's a whole bunch of information available on the Airfix YouTube channel about the creation of this kit. So highly recommended. So until next time everyone, stay well, take care and stay safe.